Film School Slacker contains adult language and themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Film School Slacker, the podcast where I go through my ever-growing list of movies I have not seen in pop culture. I am Ian.
I'm Megan.
And here we go.
Where are we?
I'm hungover, so we're gonna start there.
Went to a crazy batch party last night.
Yeah, had a batch party moment, and I thought, my life is crazy enough. Let's just try to sneak in a recording session while we're at it. Yeah. Anyway, so today, very excited to be watching. This has been on our list since the beginning to do, and we are going to do 16 Candles.
16 Candles from 1984, written and directed by John Hughes, starring Molly Ringwald, Anthony Michael Hall, Justin Henry, Michael Scheffling, Haviland Morris, Geddy Watanabe, Paul Dooley, among many others. We're kind of jumping back into our John Hughes mode, I guess.
Yeah, I blame John Hughes.
I mean, don't we all?
It will be if we ever do merch, that will be like the main.
John Hughes.
I blame John Hughes. Yeah, I'm excited. I've enjoyed our John Hughes adventures thus far, so I'm excited to.
Do you know anything about this one?
I know literally nothing.
All right.
I just know that it stars Molly Ringwald, right?
It does.
Yeah. And she's fun.
She's great.
I liked Pretty in Pink.
Yes.
So
this is the year before, or 2 years before.
Okay. And this one seems to have even more of.
This one is unhinged.
I've heard from you and others that it's wild.
It's wild, and there is a crazy racist character that I'm sure we will talk about so much when we come back.
Oh God. Okay.
But yeah.
Did you say it was 84?
84. Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't even have. I mean, I'm assuming the 16 Candles have something to do with somebody's age, but I don't actually know. So I'm just guessing.
It's a kind of a coming of age 16th birthday sort of thing.
Okay,
so.
that was kind of my guess. It was either that or some sort of cult. So I wasn't sure, but
I mean, yeah. John Hughes isn't. I mean, there could be a cult of John Hughes out there somewhere. I don't know.
I feel like there is.
It's the reason Jay and Silent Bob went to Shermer, Illinois. But then we got here. There is no Shermer in Illinois. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Because I know nothing.
Yeah.
I think we might as well just dive in.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's go. Let's roll the tape.
Roll it.
Oh, wow.
I told you it was unhinged.
So, it was interesting. I feel like this movie's, and I did not originate the phrase, but the unhinged aspects of this movie sort of came on like a migraine. Like it was sort of like, okay, I see. It's got that classic, like, 80s coming of age intro montage energy and everything, and then suddenly, like, things just got weirder and weirder and weirder, and I kind of wasn't ready for the kind of weird it was gonna be. Like, I guess I'll just start with my notes.
Yes.
Because I don't really know where else to begin.
Literally.
First of all, the brother has a calculator watch, which I love.
I mean, very 80s.
It's so 80s. So right off the bat, like, they make several, like, period menstruation references throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to, like, because I wasn't born in the 80s. I don't know, like, was that supposed to be kind of shocking at the time?
I don't know.
Like, was that kind of, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if that was like a shock factor or
maybe
not. Okay. I just found, because to me it's like they clearly like hammed it up, like, the bit, and I wasn't sure if that was,
especially like towards the end,
right,
where the mom's like, we don't want the whole church to know she's on her period, and then
right,
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I was also not born in the 80s, so I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if that was shocking.
That's
but
fair.
I mean, it was definitely unlike movies
Up to that
up
point.
to that point to
Right.
mention
That kind of
menstruation.
stuff. Right. They forgot my fucking birthday. Like, there's a couple of great, just kind of one-liners to the camera or not to anyone.
Yeah.
Like, it was just sort of like, they all like harass her because they're trying to get out the door.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
They fucking
they
forgot my birthday.
It was so good. And then she has that opening dialogue with the friend.
Yeah.
And that was also really funny. And of course, I didn't write down what the content was of it, but it was
Was when they were on the phone or when they were at school?
when they were on the phone.
Well, on the phone, she's kind of bemoaning the fact that she didn't wake up an entirely different person on her 16th birthday.
Yes. I think that's a really great thing that I feel like a lot of people relate to. Like, as you get to a certain age, there's expectations about how your life is going to be once you get to a certain age, and like once you're an adult, things just make sense.
Yeah,
and, like,
once I'm 16,
right,
I'll have the boobs that I want, and I'll look super great.
And the wherewithal to drive, and it'll feel different, Yeah. And I think that's a great, because I think that's true into your adulthood. Like, one day you just find that at some point that you're a different person, but you don't ever notice in that moment, like it happens gradually, but one day you do realize at some point that you're a different person. But like the idea of waking up on your 16th birthday and being a different person, it's just, I don't know, it kind of tickled me, like, as an adult, like, looking back at that.
God,
because it's such a real thing. I just,
I guess I forgot in the intro to talk about kind of my experience with the movie.
Yeah.
Again, like I said during our Pretty in Pink episode, my parents grew up in the 80s. My mom was very much around this age when this movie came out. And so, like, these were kind of the treasures from their childhood that they passed down, or their teenagehood that they passed down to me.
Right.
So I've seen this movie a ton of times, and I still can't make heads or tails of what the fuck is going on.
Like, legit.
Like, a lot of it just I can't. But yeah, so I definitely know and I watched this, pre turning 16 and post turning 16.
Sure.
I actually think, did I watch this on my 16th birthday? I don't know. Were you there? I don't think you were there. I know I had a party, but it was at my dad's house.
It would stand to reason that I wouldn't be, because I have not seen the movie.
That's fair. No, that's totally fair. But yeah, I remember this kind of prepared me for the
inevitable disappointment of turning 16.
Yes.
That's funny. That's fair, because turning 16 isn't that great. Like, it's pretty lame.
Like, yeah, and we also came of age in the era of, like, My Super Sweet 16 on MTV, if you ever watched that.
Did not.
Probably not. You weren't a girl in the early 2000s.
I was
or
not.
Mid 2000s.
I wasn't. Yeah.
I watched a couple of those episodes, and I'm just like, what the fuck are these people doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't have a big Sweet 16. I had a party at my dad's house.
Yeah.
And that was fun. It was just like, I think there were 10 people.
Right.
And I was like, all right, that's good enough. That's big
plenty.
enough.
That's
I don't need more than that.
10 people is actually like a lot of people.
That's
in my world of like maintaining energy with human beings. Like, every time you add another one, it's like a logarithmic scale of being more draining.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, so I never really grew up with, I mean, you turn 16, you can get a driver's license. I didn't get mine until I was 17.
Yeah.
I don't really know what else comes with turning 16. You're like a sophomore. You still have 2 years of school left. It's not that big a deal, you guys. 18 is a big deal.
It's a big deal. Yeah.
21, that's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything after 21 is just not that big of a deal.
deal.
Not to say that I don't love my birthday, because I do. And I expect people to celebrate it with me. My birthday is on Saturday. I can't wait. I'm going to be 32.
No, that doesn't sound right.
I'm going to be
No.
twice the age
No.
that these people are in this
Dislike.
movie.
I cannot with that.
There was like a script for 32 Candles bandied about kind of around the time that would have happened. And Molly Ringwald was like, yeah, let's do it. And it just never
materialized.
happened.
That's funny.
So now they have to wait until like 64 Candles, I guess. I don't know.
I wonder how it's not going to be that long if it hasn't already happened.
I think they're mostly in their 50s right now.
Oh, okay.
So maybe in the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah. That's funny.
John Hughes will come out. Oh, wait, no. Didn't John Hughes die?
I think he's dead.
I think he did die.
Yeah.
John Hughes will rise from the grave
Right.
to direct 64 Candles
64 candles.
where it's just like, it's complicated with Meryl Streep and Steve Martin, but
Yes. Oh my God.
with a super stereotypical racist character in the corner.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Okay. So let's see. First thing. Yes, montage. Like I do love like an 80s montage.
I do love a montage.
This is like a kind of general note from this film is it was not in a rush to do anything.
No, it was not.
I wouldn't call it plotting, but it was just sort of like it would just kind of it was all about it felt like it was like a series of vignettes and nothing ever felt like
with
it
like
was
maybe one story, like the Sam storyline,
right,
kind of going throughout that tied it all together. But other than that, we're gonna watch this girl in a neck brace try to drink out of a water fountain for no reason.
It had like a slice of life energy that had like a the through thread of Sam, but like it wasn't. She was kind of the focus. She was the tying in point, but like it was very. Like you just didn't, and that I think is part of why it's such an unhinged movie to watch. Yeah, because it really does just kind of meander. Yeah, like, it's just this environment, this time and place that's been invented, and you just kind of exist in that space with these different subplots going on, and they're all progressively further and further unhinged from each other. Like it's bizarre. The cyborg glasses were giving me life. Mm-hmm. Big fan.
I said this while we were watching. I don't know. The opening scene reminds me a lot of the opening of Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Okay.
Where it's that montage of, students getting to school and, putting on lip gloss and brushing our hair and which like I never did at school, but whatever.
Right.
And like, the kids cuddling because they're first boyfriend girlfriend and
first Fast Times at Ridgemont High wasn't on my list yet. So
it was not.
So you
haven't seen it.
You get
I'm not surprised. Yeah. I don't know why I'm surprised. I don't know why I'm surprised, but
yeah, I know. Considering the content of the podcast we're on right now.
Yeah, right. But that was a good one. I like that one probably better than I like this one.
Okay. And it's few years older. Too,
yeah, it's 1981. 82. Like. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Confident Tale. That was...
Yeah.
Oh, I wrote...
on the sex
survey. And the thing I wrote was, in my day, this was a Google sheet. Am I wrong? Because there was a couple that floated around.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I never got the invite to those.
There was a couple.
Mine were like MySpace things that you would fill out.
Amazing! Wow, this really gives a time and place to it.
I know, right?
Oh, okay. You know where they're talking about? I think they're talking about Sam mostly. Where they're lifting weights.
Where the dudes are
doing the pull-ups.
They're doing pull-ups.
It was giving me the. Where she was pulling groceries out of a bag in the room. Like, it was like directly tied. Like, the dialogue was tied to the movement. I was struggling that whole time.
Well, and then did you see the wide shot of that? Where they're actually just standing
there. Yes. It's so ridiculous. And that's when the migraine starts. Where you're like, the migraine of the absurdity just starts to kind of creep in. You're like, oh, what is that?
Did you also notice in the background of that scene, like, a professional wrestler looking dude throwing around a child?
No, I did not see that.
Like, okay, I know this was really like prevalent in basically every time before now.
Right.
But like casting people who are way older than the characters they're playing. And I feel like a lot of the nerds, the geeks, were played by kids who were probably actually that age.
Right. Or close to
it.
Right.
Whereas all the popular and hot kids were played by like 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds.
Yeah, you can.
I think Jake Ryan was 24.
Okay. Because I that's a note that I have later on where it's like there's definitely like they really highlight the fact that this movie does a good job of showing the absurdity of all these people that are ostensibly the same age, but like puberty hits everyone differently.
Yeah.
And because it really is true. Like, yeah, it's way exaggerated because they were using people way older, but like that is genuinely a thing. Like you'd have people that were the same, like, within 6 months of each other in age, but like they would look.
Yeah.
One would look like a 12-year-old, one would look like an 18-year-old, and it was crazy because you just didn't know.
Yeah.
Because just the way that the genetic lottery
puberty.
hit them. Right. Exactly.
Puberty sucks. I'm sorry to all the teenagers out there.
Yeah. Shout out to the teenagers.
Shout out to the
so
teenagers.
Sorry.
Oof.
Yeah, and if you're a dude who's trying to sing in high school, that's a situation.
Did you hear all of the voice cracks from Anthony Michael Hall here?
I did, and I appreciated them.
Also, can we just big ups to Anthony Michael Hall? Like
like
he was like, I don't know, the geek character just is a little fascinating to me. Because, like, he is a geek. He's scrawny and kind of,
Yeah.
But, like, he's also the top echelon of his
geek
circle. Geek friend group.
Yeah.
So he puts on, like, this macho kind of...
Yeah. He has an affectation he does to try to like keep him. And that was actually, so I have this ties into a note. Well, first of all, of course you'd find it fascinating because you like charisma.
I do.
And this also plays into a note I had at the end, kind of that I was looking at, where there was a bunch of different elements of other John Hughes movies seem like they were kind of prototyped in this movie.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like this movie is the overarching establishing universe of the John Hughes universe.
Yeah, this was his directorial debut.
Yeah, like, and so like there's so many elements that you see. Like, okay, you got the kid kind of stealing the parents' really nice car, comes back up again in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You've got the dorky kid who works fully on charisma, which comes back up again in Pretty in Pink with John Cryer's character, like that. Like there was another one I had too. But there's a lot of the like
John Hughes-averse.
Yeah, like he sort of had a lot of these elements kind of already incomplete but in play. Yeah. And then one of those elements would get lifted and dropped as a central focal point for another film. There was some other stuff too, but I'm trying to remember what it was. But yeah, those two right away I picked up on. Like that was something I wrote in with about the geek right away. I'm like, this is giving me John Cryer right now. Like like super
absolutely
super similar to that. And another one was specifically Molly Ringwald being the emotional center of her family in a way.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, this is a bigger family and
right. So it's a little
nuclear
different.
family
right.
dynamic, but still,
of course she's like mad, and then the family feels bad, and she's like, no, it's okay. Like it's a classic, like, and I also said Molly Ringwald is giving me a fifth book Harry Potter.
Angst.
Just the angst.
Angst.
Full angst.
Angst. Yeah, no, she is like, and I'm wondering, like, just as a person, do people not take into consideration like other people when they like her parents could have looked at the calendar
Right. Well, and that's
months beforehand when they were planning the wedding.
I think that that's sort of part of the absurdity.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of it, I think a lot of something that I've chosen to accept about this movie is we are experiencing all of it from the brain of a newly 16-year-old
That's
girl.
fair. Yep.
And so everything is going to feel heightened.
Yep.
And more crazy than it is.
She made multiple references to just killing herself.
Right. Like,
so casually.
It's just the drama.
It
and
is
so
the drama.
The idea that like
The
you
drama.
know I don't know. I find it interesting. Like if you choose to accept that the storyline, we are interpreting the series of events from her perspective, we're going to be skewed to being like, what the fuck happens? What's up with her family? You know, that's
yes,
how
weddings
I feel about
are stressful and demand a lot of attention.
Right.
Especially when you're marrying a oily bohunk, as I kept saying. Also, I looked it up. Bohunk is a derogatory name that for like Eastern European.
I wondered about that.
Especially like Hungary.
Okay. Because I'm about to say, I feel like half the words I don't recognize in these like 80s movies are inappropriate.
Slurs.
Yeah. Like I was gonna start making R word and F word counters.
Yeah.
Because that one popped up a lot. And I'm happy to see he was more
restrained
later
than
on, but
others.
he this movie he definitely just went all in.
Yeah.
On some stuff that it's like, really.
Yeah. Not my favorite.
Not ideal. But anyway, so that's a thing. Oh, bong, and then it was just tits. That was funnier than I expected.
The stinger.
Yeah, like just but like the noise that they used was
boing.
Yeah, that was good. They were nice boobs too.
Yeah, they were. That was actually a body double of
I kind of figured that actress.
Of the actress. Well, the actress was 25.
Right.
But they she made the point that the whole point of that nude scene was to prove that she had bigger boobs than Sam and her friend.
Oh, sure.
And the actress actually didn't.
Oh.
So they brought in a body double who had bigger boobs.
Funny. That is funny.
Which, just the fun little details of IMDb trivia.
Right. Yeah. And right away I'm just like, Joan Cusack, what is your deal? Like, what's your neck brace story? Because like she shows up in like the well, first I noticed the neck brace thing, and I was like, oh, it's a neck. There's a person with a neck
she's
brace.
got a neck brace.
And then like directly after that, I was like, wait, is that Joan Cusack?
Didn't we just see you in something?
We did. What did we just see her
Adam's
in?
Family Values.
Adam's Family Value. Oh my God, that's right. Wow.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was funny. So like right away I picked up on, I'm like, she's gonna come back later.
Yes.
Especially when I discovered that it was Joan Cusack. I'm like, she's gonna come back. Wow. I was like, yikes, the F word happens a lot in this movie. Not fuck.
The anti-gay F word.
Anthony Michael Hall has proto John Cryer energy. Let's see what else. Some of these are not as useful as before. Let's see. Oh,
it's okay.
yes.
You're hungover.
I know the grandma. With I called this out to you while we were watching it, where she was giving like Nathan Lane in the Birdcage as Mama Coleman.
Yes, Mother Coleman.
Mother
vibes.
Coleman. Oh my God, she's a sensitive woman. So good.
Okay, but the grandparents in this movie are
they are hilarious.
They are wine grandma.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And cookie grandma. And there's no better interpretation of that.
I think that your work speaks for itself. Yeah, so then we get it. Then we do have to talk about no, I forgot the name already.
Long Duck Dong.
Yeah, thank you, Long Duck Dong. I don't know where to go with that.
A lot has been said about it.
Okay.
More eloquently than I think we can.
We can, right. I look at it, I'm like, well, this is a problem. I'm like, I don't have any answers.
It's so, and watching it from, like, even when I watched it as a, young teen, I was like, oh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like
yeah, I have
but it's also just so cartoonish,
right.
that I think today's audience, I mean, it still makes you cringe.
Yeah, but I think that's part of my problem is it's being handled like a caricature.
Yeah, it is.
And it's not like, I don't know, like it feels unnecessary. Like it feels like it doesn't, because like I had a couple of questions. One of which was how is he there? Like he's staying with one of the grandparents?
Yeah, he's an exchange student.
Okay. Because it just felt very like trafficky to me, because it sounds like he was just like doing a lot of, you know what I mean, like
he was doing all their chores. Yeah,
like it was weird, like
we hired a young boy from China,
right,
even though the actor is Japanese to do all of our chores.
Yeah, it was.
But then at the same time, they trust him with their car,
right,
and
right
in a strange town that he doesn't know where he's going,
right,
with their granddaughter.
Yeah,
it's very weird, that dynamic.
It's a subplot that didn't need to exist.
Yeah,
it added no value to the story in my feelings, or like honestly, like you could have replaced, for me, like I would have replaced it with like a cousin. Like if you wanted to do that subplot,
yeah,
have a cousin that was staying with the grandparents come in and do all of the same stuff.
Make him a German exchange student.
I don't know.
Have him get sloppy drunk and
I just think that
fall out of a tree, and
I just like the idea of a cousin being a similar age who got sloppy drunk in a tree and then like
that'd be funny,
and just goes off and like it makes, and then I feel
comes to a new school and meets a Amazon goddess,
right, and then that whole like the whole rest of the subplot could occur the same way. Just eliminating like the making the foreigner the butt of the joke thing is weird to me.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, it's whatever. It is what it is. It was a different time, but I do feel like it was just like that was unnecessary.
That was a lot.
Yeah. Also, the gong, like just it was not good. Like I don't know. Like
Getty Watanabe actually said, I think someone was drunk when they made that decision.
Yeah.
When they made that editing choice
with the gong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. It was crazy. Like that was really fully, because that's the other weird thing was there was the only really like non-diegetic stuff was sort of just like actual music. Mm-hmm. There like it didn't have a lot of, it was very light on score.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting.
There was a lot of times where I'm like, is this in universe or is this not in universe?
Right.
Why are we listening to this?
It was an interesting choice, and it was kind of jarring because, you know, we're so used to heavily soundtracked movies. Mm-hmm. Going in and watching it, because so much of it is just ambient. Like it's a very ambient film.
Yeah.
Which is it's actually kind of interesting because it works pretty well, but it feels a little more like almost kind of theatrical because you're sitting there in these moments and like they let them play out, but they don't have this underpinning score. There's just like montagey stuff. So that was an interesting choice as well. But then when that was the paradigm they used, and then they'd switch over and start talking, you know, about the exchange student, and then they'd like throw in some sort of like vaguely oriental, like, you know what I mean? Like it was it was weird. It was a weird choice because they could have done it, even just left it as a foreign exchange student character and not done like 4 or 5 things that would have made it a lot less of a problem for me.
Yeah.
It was surprising. It was surprising.
1984.
I don't care. No, it was surprising to me, is what I'm saying.
Like that character has been singled out as like almost as bad as Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's, which is an off the charts terrible Mr. H.
I have to see if that's on my list already or not.
I can't remember, but he plays her Japanese landlord.
Oh no. Wait, who does?
Mickey Rooney.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that's full yellow face.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm. So it's not great.
Okay.
It's actually really bad. Yeah.
Yeah,
not-
Mr. Yunioshi.
Yeah, Mr.
That's not
Yunioshi.
good. That is not good at all.
I don't know why I was thinking H. I don't know.
Oh, it's 1961?
Yeah.
Wow. All right, but I put it on the list.
That's
so.
actually another really good one. I really like that movie. 2 points for me
2
so
points
far.
for me. Yeah.
Booyah.
This is a high scoring episode. Okay, so
Racism is bad.
Racism
Stop
is bad.
doing it.
I'm gonna pull John Hughes out of the grave and tell him that he
Just
did
kinda
a bad
shake
job.
him.
Yeah, just a little shake. Yeah.
Just be like, dude, what were you thinking? He'll
Yeah.
be like, it was 1984. Also, I'm dead.
Also, I'm super dead.
Do whatever you want. I'm super dead.
I literally write the soundtrack might be the most unhinged part.
It's, yeah. There's like, there were points in the movie where I'm like, I've never been able to distinguish, is this diegetic or not diegetic?
Right. It's
I'm like,
really weird.
Is this coming from a stereo somewhere that we don't
Right.
see? Is this coming from, is this just being kooky and having a weird sound effect? I don't know what the fuck's
Right.
going on.
Right. No, it definitely slid in and out of realism, and like it played that boundary pretty tightly.
Played jump rope with that
Yeah.
boundary.
Yeah. Fresh breath is a good priority to have.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jake Ryan, the name sounds like a Republican senator. The Donger. No. I just wrote no.
No. All caps.
Yep.
N-O.
N-O.
No.
Love a visual gag from Joan Cusack.
Ugh.
Because she had some good ones.
Well, she had the
water
drinking
fountain.
from the water
Yeah.
fountain.
Yep.
And then, I don't know if you noticed, but her sweatshirt had a girl with a skirt.
And then you could lift
the skirt up and there were her panties.
Pants underneath
and
it.
then
Her pantaloons.
her pantaloons.
Yeah, no, that was great. Just like
She
dapper
just uses
face.
it as a napkin.
That's
That's
a
fucking
great
fantastic.
visual gag. It was good. There was
some really good fucking gags.
Yeah, and well placed and
Yeah.
took they weren't like show stopping. They would just kind of happen.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was good.
Yeah.
Someone left their visa in the bean dip. I quoted that.
Someone did. I've
did.
never noticed that before.
It was like, wow, that is a visa in the bean dip.
But so it's this, typical high school party scene.
Mm-hmm.
Although I never went to a party like that in high school.
Neither did I.
Does that say something about us?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, yeah.
We were in theater department.
Yeah, we were in the theater. We went to drama kid parties, which were more about
the Crucible
playing rock
cast
band
party. Yeah, exactly.
and the what was it? Sexually charged massage train.
Massage train, yes, exactly. Oof.
Oh man.
Sends me back.
But yeah, so I never went to a party where things got that out of hand and we left the place trashed.
Right.
I feel like if I had gone at that age, I would have tried to mitigate some of that mess.
Right.
Help clean up. But
Right. Or if I saw something at that level, I probably just wouldn't have engaged,
That's also true. I probably would have just been, what the fuck? No,
Yeah.
You want to go to McDonald's? Let's go to McDonald's. They're open late.
Right, exactly.
Let's get McDonald's and then go park down by...
That says a lot about us, I think.
Just go park down at the Silver Lake boat launch and
right.
talk until 2 a.m.
Right.
Who did that? Not me.
Classic. Yeah, it was such a specific location too. I was like, okay. Classic.
It wasn't me. God.
I just told you it wasn't me.
I just said it wasn't me.
Oh god.
But yeah, so they leave his house completely trashed, which honestly, that being the set
design,
set
oh my god,
decorator for that would have been just fucking
god.
fun as hell. Because they just have a Visa card
stuck in the bean dip.
Stuck right into the bean dip.
That's so good.
There's beer cans everywhere.
Anthony Michael Hall stuck underneath the glass coffee table.
Also, it
just the chaos. It was it did a lot of storytelling.
It did.
That.
Well,
yeah.
and the whole point of that was to kind of illustrate Jake's just being done with his girlfriend, because she's the one who's like, let's go to Jake's house.
And
everybody come to Jake's house and come to like,
right,
and have a party and get fucking blitzed. And
right,
and he even says like, look what she did to my house.
right.
Even though I feel like you gotta put your foot down and said, no, you're not coming to my house. Remember what happened last time. But ugh.
Yeah.
I did not have that high school experience.
Nope. Likewise.
I am okay with not.
I don't feel like I missed anything.
Even
frankly.
like when they showed the wide shot of the party, I was like,
I know.
that just looks terrible.
Like we simultaneously had a moment of like, no thanks. That looks like a panic attack for me, dog.
Like,
I'm good.
There's too many people.
Yeah. No, I'm good.
I don't like that.
Oh, if crushes were easy, they'd call him something else. That was cute.
That's a
good line.
I appreciate that they put those scenes in the movie of her parents like realizing that they were assholes and forgot her birthday, and kind of having that one-on-one moment with her.
Definitely noticing that as an ongoing thing in John Hughes movies.
What, parents being
like parents like,
realizing that
like
they're
having
assholes?
having a moment of self-realization and like communication. Like I find it to be a very interesting kind of ongoing theme. It's almost like he's doing it for his own mental health or something. Like it feels like it's something that he's willing into existence or something.
As a writer, I mean,
right.
Which of my characters have healthy parental relationships?
Mm-hmm.
None of them? None of them. All right. Moving on.
That's, exactly. My other big problem, I think you'll probably know what my other big problem with this movie is.
It's probably everyone's big problem.
The rapey stuff.
Yep.
That was the idea, like, and the outcome is, okay.
The outcome does not justify the action.
Like,
just because she's cool with it doesn't mean that it's cool.
The part that I didn't like about it was the kind of bartering her aspect. Like this sense of like, okay, well, not just that, but also like, well, A, she's inebriated, so she can't consent. 2, they barter her. Yeah. And that, I think that was my big problem. Like, people do stupid shit and people get drunk and like these things happen, but like the fact that they were like, the part that to me felt,
they both seemed really sober when they were doing it too.
Yes, that's my problem. Like it felt like they were making a very cogent business decision. Yeah. And they were, and their main chess piece was a woman. Yeah. like an 18-year-old girl. Like, no thanks. Like that was, who is unable to fend for herself right now. Like that felt
very helpless.
Incredibly icky.
Yes.
I feel like they could have gotten to the moment with her and Anthony Michael Hall sitting in that car stolen, like in a way that could have happened differently than that. Yeah. And it would have been, the same outcome could have happened without it being as gross. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm willing to like forfeit, like venture into some territory.
If it hadn't been, hey, give me this other girl's panties, you take my girlfriend home
and do whatever with her.
And do whatever, because I don't care. Like,
right. That's where I really struggle. I think it's, and because it's like, I don't like like there's the implications of like taking advantage and stuff like that. That's also bad. But like the part that really stuck with me was the bartering her. Yeah. I think is where I struggled.
And like, he's 15.
He's 15.
He doesn't have a driver's license.
He does not.
What?
Yeah, why would you do that?
Why would you give
decision
a 15-year-old your dad's car,
like $500,000 Rolls Royce,
even if it's not a Rolls Royce, like if it's a Honda Civic, a Toyota Tercel, like why would you give a 15-year-old and a very drunk girl who,
is clearly has not been making good decisions all night and will continue to do so.
Because we get a whole scene of her fucking around and causing chaos in the car
with the person who is not
it's very
confident
dangerous.
in being, like it's bizarre. Like, and it's one thing too if like that's what I'm saying is like that's like sequence of events. Like the sequence of events starting with him like ending up in the car with her and like her being crazy and then dealing with something like there could have been a pathway in the script to get there
that wasn't
wasn't like A, them doing the bartering thing, B,
it could have just
Jake
been
being like, hey, take my dad's car.
It could have just been like, I don't want her in my house anymore because she's
causing trouble. Right.
Will you take her home? Make sure she gets home.
Yes.
To the home that she lives in. That is her home.
Right. And knowing, and honestly, the Geeks as a character, honestly, it seemed like he's a mess. He's got his, you know, his like fake charisma.
Very, 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 very hard up, and this is all he thinks about.
Right. But he would have probably tried to bring her home.
Yeah.
And then she could have caused trouble. It could have been
or
built
maybe
out.
The car stalled, or you know,
he stalled it,
or something fucking happened, and they ended up in the parking lot, and
whatever.
Yeah,
like, there are ways that are still kind of morally gray, but like don't start like that.
Yeah,
like I can forgive some things, some 80s-ness of it, but like that to me was like exceptionally bad.
All right,
yeah,
no, cut that out.
It felt very much.
Yeah,
that was a problem for me. That one was actually a problem for me. Oh god. And then when they go to carry her out, they do that flip cut. Like the edit, that, and with a sound effect. It was like what? Like who did that? And here's the thing, they did not use any cuts like that again. It was just that one shot. Like why would they do that? That's crazy.
Because to trick Ian.
Well, it worked. I'm glad they had the foresight to know that they were gonna bug me in like 40 years.
30. No, 40.
40.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm gonna be 32.
Don't. Well, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. Yeah.
Wow. That's so weird.
Let's see. We talked some of this stuff already. Continuity errors.
Out the ass.
Yeah. One specifically that I noticed was during the Rolls-Royce driving scene. You know, she puts the top up.
Yeah.
And so like you can see the top go up, and then it crashes, and then once they cut back to the car, once it's crashing, the top is down. Like it just like that.
No, did you? I think she must have pushed the button twice, because if you're watching it, it goes up and then it kind of stops. And then it goes back down.
Back? Oh, see, I thought it had actually gone all the way up.
No, because I was watching that because I'm like, what?
Yeah,
like,
it was weird.
I don't think you can do that while you're driving.
You're not supposed to.
I mean, they probably disabled that in later models, but...
Probably.
I guess. I don't know shit about cars, man.
I get it. Let's see. I'm breaking like 30 major laws here.
Yeah.
Which is probably not even an exaggeration.
You know what? No.
Yeah.
Especially, she puts her birth control pill in his mouth.
That was kind of funny.
He's like, and he's, 15.
Right.
He's like, you know what that could do to a boy my age? I don't think anything, bro.
That's a really good question. I don't know what that would do. I'm
actually kind of curious about what that would do. What would...
See, it would be probably
hormonal
unpleasant.
Birth control.
Yeah,
but like one pill.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nothing will happen.
Oh. Well, that was anticlimactic.
I know. Basically, I mean, obviously, like to your point, like obviously, if you took it regularly, that would be weird. But like, if they basically said if it's like if a cisgendered man takes one or two,
it's not gonna...
there will be basically no effect.
Yeah.
But it won't prevent pregnancy. So,
damn it.
There's that. Which, thank you, Planned Parenthood. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But
also, just in general, thank you, Planned Parenthood.
Well, thank you, Planned Parenthood. Random shout to Planned Parenthood.
Random shout out. Love you.
Never knew that's where we would love you. Nice to see you. Love you.
Nice to see you. Love you. Bye.
Oh, and we already talked about this, but the whole using an inebriated woman as a prop piece during the whole scene is kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Once again, we see Molly Ringwald emotionally holding her family together.
Yeah. The sister taking 4 muscle relaxers.
Oh, my God.
Like, I've had bad cramps.
Yeah.
Not in a while, but I've had bad cramps.
Right.
Where it feels like I'm going to die.
Right.
I can understand the urge to take 4
muscle
relaxers.
Yeah.
But
that is
that seems
that seems like a recipe for disaster.
Very bad choice. And we see that it was a bad choice because she cannot control any of her body.
I struggle with like muscle relaxers in general. Like they make me feel really weird. Like even at like a normal not 4 of them at the same time kind of dose. Like that's freaky. Anyway, that was a pretty, and again, good visual bits.
Yeah.
I like they did it. There's a couple of movies that do this, and I don't know why or what the reasoning is, but when it's a sound effect that I'll hear, it's kind of subtle, but when someone like is like doing that thing where they're clearly gonna like tip backwards, like she does, you hear this kind of like a creak. And I don't know why, but I know I can think of a couple of movies that do that when people will tip back
I think
over.
it's like an old-fashioned sound effect.
Yeah.
That was like meant to be like a tree falling over.
I think that's what it's based around.
I think that's
interesting that that's continued to be sort of a thing up. You know, I don't know. I don't know if I've heard one do it real recently.
I don't think so.
But like definitely.
But there
in
are
the
those
80s,
like legacy sound effects.
Yeah. Well, you know that like that ringing phone, the like that. Like if you listen through time, you can hear the same ring.
Yep.
And it's gotten progressively worse sounding.
Great.
Like literally, you'll hear like you can literally hear the tape flutter.
Ooh.
From it. Like you'll hear like the pitch waver. Because the master has gotten worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
So like, and this has been a ring that's been used probably for like 40 years.
Wow.
So it was like golden age of Hollywood. They created the sound effect for like before the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yeah.
And then like it was used all the way up through like the early 2000s or something. And by the very end, it was getting real.
They're just
creaky.
like, we need to retire this sound.
This needs to go.
Can we re-record a telephone? No.
Yeah.
Anybody?
It's just people were
no,
so
we
lazy because they just had this old reel
literally
there and they just grab it. Yeah.
Damn.
Literal tape. Yeah. It was pretty funny. I asked early on what car Jake owns. It's a Porsche 944.
Cool. It's a little red car.
It's a little red car. It's actually kind of pretty.
It's cute. Yeah. It's a very sporty car. Also, why are you buying your 18-year-old a Porsche? But whatever.
Well, the idea...
I can't tell you how to spend your money.
That's an interesting thing with like the John Hughes movie. There's definitely like an obsession with like wealth.
Yeah.
And how it's utilized. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think Pretty in Pink has a much more clear focus on that, but you can tell like even in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, there's definitely that sense of his dad's got it's a Ferrari, I think.
The middle class versus upper middle class versus upper middle class,
right. There was no lower class in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
No.
And then also like lower class
except for,
and
like, Charlie Sheen, but he was in
wasn't really focused
one
on
scene.
Right. But the like in Pretty in Pink, like that the wrong side of the tracks kind of thing was much more
lower middle class versus.
Yep. Yeah, it was interesting. I liked this one was a little because the thing with Pretty in Pink is it had a really really clear delineation.
Yep.
In term and they visually called out. This one was a little more blended.
Range.
Yep. Yeah, more blended and people didn't care as much. But also they didn't focus on the lower class family as much. Or the lower middle class family as much. They kind of stuck middle class in this movie and kind of worked there.
They felt very firmly middle class, especially with 4 kids.
Right.
I think that I read that house sold for $1.25 million.
Like how long ago?
Recently.
Oh wow.
Like in 20.
Well, I mean it looks like it's like 3,500 4,000 square feet.
It was 5 bedrooms, I think.
Okay.
In the suburbs of
Chicago.
Illinois, yeah. Or Illinois. The suburbs of Illinois.
The suburbs of Illinois.
The entire state is suburbs. No, that's not true. In the Chicagoland area.
Right.
So, not that surprising, but also kind of surprising.
surprising.
But also, it's a famous house, so
that
I wonder
also
if
can
that
make
made a
Yeah.
dent.
Yeah, no, that's interesting.
Because like I know the house in South Minneapolis that they used for the exteriors in Purple Rain.
Oh, those have gone for more money.
I drove past that house. It was just like a regular looking house from the outside.
Right.
I passed it on my way to and from work. Or no, I passed it from work when I was running errands for when I worked down there.
Okay.
But I would just be like, oh, hey, that's the house from Purple Rain. Well, and I was working there when Prince died. So they put up a little memorial and everything. But you can actually stay there now. It's an Airbnb.
Okay. That's fun because the inside's been like made to look. It's
The
like all
inside actually
Prince-
looks pretty cool.
Did they make it like kind of like just
Oh
Princey
yeah.
themed?
There's
yeah.
the basement bedroom that was Prince's in the movie
Mhm.
is all tricked out in Prince
That's fun.
flavor.
Nice.
So
Very
anyway,
cool.
speaking of 80s,
Speaking of
1984, actually.
That's on our list.
it is.
We'll get there.
It's a movie.
It's a movie that we will be watching at some point, and we'll come along for the ride, won't
It'll
you?
be fun.
Okay, so that's actually all my notes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. You can really tell, kind of like an overall feeling about this movie. You can really tell it's John Hughes' first directing bit.
Yeah.
Because it's not. I wouldn't call it rough around the edges because I don't think it actually was rough around the edges. I just feel like it was. There were elements of it that I could tell he hadn't settled on how he wanted to do things yet.
Yeah.
And I think it makes it interesting as a film, and I think it's partially why it's so unhinged because he kind of had these different kinds of elements that he was interested in toying with, and you could tell he was throwing a lot of things at the wall, and just kind of some stuff made it through that he maybe wouldn't have let through in later stuff.
It's looser,
less directional.
yeah, than say Breakfast Club or Pretty in Pink.
Right,
It's
right. Yeah, both Breakfast. It's been years since I've seen Breakfast Club. That might just need to be like an episode at some point.
Yeah,
just for fun because genuinely I barely remember it. But Pretty in Pink, like for sure, it's really directional.
Yep.
It's really narrative driven. It's very story driven, very character driven.
Yeah.
This felt like it was sort of like there was a through line, and the through line was really nothing. It was just her family forgot her birthday, and she fell in love with it, and she has a crush
on a dude,
right? And that's kind of the whole shtick. You
kind
know?
of a long walk for a short drink of water.
Exactly, and so really, to me, it felt like that storyline was an excuse to create the universe that John Hughes created.
Yeah,
and then everything else is sort of built on that universe that he just keeps in his head, that was built in 16 Candles, essentially.
Yeah. Shermer, Illinois.
Exactly.
Even though this was filmed in or near Skokie.
Oh, okay. Oh, good to know. Yeah, and I think it's interesting too because I feel like Molly Ringwald, I think, sort of like did such a good job of embodying that character that he just sort of like wanted to refocus on her again.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah.
And Molly Ringwald are two of the top 3 young actors that John Hughes worked with the most.
Mm-hmm.
Can you venture a guess as to who number 2 was?
Okay, sorry. Say it one more time. It was...
So Anthony Michael Hall and Molly Ringwald are 1 and 3.
Number 2. Interesting.
It's not who you expect.
Were they in this movie?
No. Think more late 80s, early 90s.
Have I seen them in a movie so far? Were they in any of the stuff that, like, they weren't in Pretty in Pink?
Nope.
This is going to be challenging. Were they in Breakfast Club?
Nope. Would you like me to just tell you and put you out of your misery?
Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin.
Oh. Sure. Okay. Yeah, because I've never seen those movies.
But what?
Home Alone?
Die Hard for kids.
I've never seen it.
Put it on the list.
All right, hold on.
At least, Number 2 is pretty good, but number 1 for sure.
Die Hard for Kids.
It is.
That's really funny. Oh my God, Chris Columbus directed that?
He did.
That's really funny. Home Alone 2. We'll put those on the list.
4.
Lost in New York, the streets are numbered.
The streets are numbered.
Amazing. Okay. Perfection.
1 block over, 15 blocks up.
You simple
You
bitch.
simple bitch. Ugh.
Okay, so
Ratings.
let's time to rate this bad boy. Let me 16 candles.
16 candles.
Okay. Production and design.
I give it a 4. Like a soft 4.
That's a pretty good number. I think I give it. I mean, it's not groundbreaking. I mean, it is.
No,
it is
but
what it is.
For a first movie,
Yeah, we'll give it a 4.
pretty good.
Story. There
There was a story.
like wow, what story? I'm gonna give it. Wow. I'm thinking like a 3.5.
Yeah, that's kind of where my head was at.
Yeah.
Like the meat and potatoes of this movie is Sam's storyline, which
Right.
isn't really that
Deep.
deep.
It's not. It's not.
and that it doesn't lead to any sort of big emotional change,
Right.
except that she gets the guy in the
She
end.
gets the guy in the end. Really, the only reason it's compelling is Molly Ringwald is compelling. That's
Yeah.
kind of the entire reason that the story is
Yeah.
interesting, which leads me neatly into the performances rating.
Yes.
Which I think I would give like a 4.5.
Yeah. I'd say, especially for how young they were. So,
They were all pretty young.
well,
Well, the mains were.
yeah.
Not the,
Anthony Michael Hall and Molly Ringwald were both 15 when
were
this
they
movie
really?
was shot.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
so that's, pretty good
pretty
emotional
much
range from both of them.
Everyone else was
In their 20s.
in their 20s.
That's fucking weird.
Getty Watanabe was like 28,
Yeah.
pushing 30.
Wow.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah, I think knowing that to be true, I think that's cool. Like I think that both of them really carried the film.
Yeah.
They were kind of the main two, and they did a good job. So was this Molly Ringwald's first real
I think so,
thing?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, it
It was
good.
her first interaction with John Hughes.
Okay. Okay.
And like the guy who played Jake Ryan only did like 11 movies
Total.
and he just kind of was like, nope, done with that,
Right.
moved on.
Some people do that.
And you know what, good for him.
Yeah. It's,
The only, I don't know, I have an issue with Jake Ryan.
as a character.
Kind of, and just as a, I don't know, it just like
He's pretty boring.
he's pretty boring.
Yeah. No.
he is real boring. He wears
He's-
sweater vests and is boring, and
and it's funny because that's kind of the John Hughes way.
yeah, I guess.
Frequently the guy, like there's kind of the archetype. There's like
Yeah.
the rich preppy kid who's profoundly boring. The most
Yeah.
interesting thing is being attractive and having money.
Yeah.
Oh
wow.
And will oftentimes be interested in the main female.
In Molly Ringwald.
Right, and then there's like specifically interested in Molly Ringwald.
Just Molly Ringwald.
John Hughes, are you projecting? And then there's the friend, the charismatic
who's
character
colorful and
who's
fun
colorful and
and-
interesting and
yeah.
doesn't get the girl.
Yeah.
Which wow, oof, okay, it's just it's an interesting thing that plays out for sure twice, and maybe even more than that. I don't know, because notice that because they don't end up with the girl that you are following, but they also end up with a hot blonde at the end.
He does, yeah.
So what the hell is that about?
in
Pretty in Pink.
I know, yeah, in Pretty in Pink, but
Yeah.
I'm also thinking like Breakfast Club, where Anthony Michael Hall at the end of that movie goes home alone. He's the only one that's not paired up.
Okay.
The jock gets with the goth girl.
Okay.
And then the preppy girl, Molly Ringwald, gets with the bad boy
Classic.
from the wrong side of the tracks.
tracks.
Weird.
Yeah. it's Shakespearean, really.
John Hughes, does love only occur across social strata for you? You're not attracted to people who are in your own...
Probably because he finds it interesting.
I mean, it's
titillating.
It's a good way to create conflict.
Yeah.
It's bam, it's right there.
Easy built-in conflictorator. Yeah, for sure.
Conflictorator.
Conflictorator.
Fire up the conflictorator.
Oh my god, I want that now.
I want a conflictorator.
Like the next episode would be like, all right, let's see what's happening in the old conflictorator.
Oh my god.
Okay, so then our last one is cultural impact, which
This movie was, like I said, from a Gen X point of view.
Yeah.
I'd say it's pretty
important.
Pretty important.
But it also has some pretty important issues as well. That know.
Do we want to give it like a 3.5?
I think a 3.5 is probably fair.
Because I think another question we ask during this segment is could this be made today?
And the answer is
to some degree,
yes. It's got some timeless aspects to it, but there'd need to be a couple areas that have to be, and we kind of talked through it a little bit, that would need to be retooled to be functional and not frightening.
Yeah.
But okay, so then the question comes down to, where does this live in our?
Where does this live
in our? Where
does
lineup?
The math put it?
It puts it. It's 3 up from the bottom.
Ooh.
It is above Fight Club and Hot Tub Time Machine, but below the Da Vinci Code and Pretty in Pink. So Pretty in Pink has a 4.4.
Okay.
And 16 Candles has a 3.9.
Okay. So that's a good half a point spread there.
Yeah.
So it's trailing.
Ooh, fun fact. Those of you that listen to this podcast, hi, hello.
Hi.
On the website, filmschoolslacker.com, if you go there at the bottom, there is a ratings button, and it will take you to a cut of the database where we store all of our episodes, and it'll give you the ratings list. So instead of going, like, I do go and rate these in Letterboxd as well, to take them off my watch list. However, we do actually keep all of our running list of ratings.
Yes, we have our own little
website
database for that.
Yes. So anyway, that puts us kind of toward the bottom, which is, I feel kind of bad because, like, I did actually enjoy myself.
Yeah, no,
but
our ratings aren't like it's not like a should you watch this.
Right. We're trying to be empirically like, is it good? You know? And where does it live in the? I just think that I felt nostalgic for a world that I never experienced, which was kind of fun. There's definitely a specific vibe to John Hughes movies. It's kind of it's weird because I almost call them escapism. They're escapism in a way, like it's basically like an alternate version of your adolescence that never existed.
Yeah.
Like it was never that simple. It was never that clean cut.
Yeah.
And it was just, but you feel kind of verklempt, feeling about like reminiscing or feeling nostalgic about
like the
world
scene where she's in the hallway and like trying to figure out how to approach Jake Ryan,
right?
And she's like rehearsing in her head. I'm like, I maybe have done that in my life. Maybe I still do that. It's definitely like it's that timelessness of adolescence and not knowing what the fuck's going on,
right?
Because just like, nobody look at me or I'm gonna kill myself,
right? Exactly.
Like, there's that kind of human touchstone of that age group specifically, that I think it
hits everyone.
Yeah, it hits everyone because we've all been there, because we all, if you've made it to an age above 18, you've gone through that, right? And it's and the things that happened during that time, looking back on it, are like, that was super frivolous, like nothing mattered, but at the time it felt so real. So there's just so many memories I'm like, was that actually a big deal, or was that just me
Right.
thinking the world is
was
coming to an end?
Right. So it's just so interesting to be able to consume a piece of media that can actually get you back into that frame of mind again.
Yeah.
And I think that is why
very
I found it compelling. Yeah, it's fun. So I think that it's media that really it's deserved for its sort of being a cultural juggernaut through to today.
Yeah.
Like I get why it is, but it is something.
There are also
something.
some pretty big problems.
Right. There are
with
issues with it.
But yeah, still fun.
Did enjoy.
Yeah.
Would watch again.
All right.
But only maybe when I'm drunk. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, we'll get you there.
Yeah.
Maybe not tonight.
No, definitely not
Mr.
tonight.
Hungover.
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
All right.
It's just yep. All right. Cool. Well, thank you so much for listening to Film School Slacker. I'm Ian.
I'm Megan.
And we will see you next time.
Catch you on the flip side.
Thank you for listening to Film School Slacker. Our graphic design is by Mitch Ransdell. Music by Ariel Shalom and Ziv Moran. Voiceover audio provided by Mike D and Janet Paoni. Learn more at filmschoolslacker.com.